Hello and welcome once more to Red Gaming Tech for yet more of your daily gaming news of myself, Marta. Today is the 6th of February and I have some rather bizarre news regarding Resident Evil. As you may have heard the rumblings regarding the Resident Evil composer Mamoru Samuragochi, who basically admitted that he did not compose any of his works that he took credit for over the last 10 years, as he had several pieces of it ghost written by another composer. Now, it's quite a lengthy story. Basically, he supposedly went completely deaf about 15 years ago, but despite this, he actually continued to compose music for a number of Capcom games, which included Onimusha and, of course, Resident Evil. And now it's come out from the lawyer of him that he did indeed hire a ghostwriter in order to compose his works for him, and his CDs will now be taken from sale, and his world tour is probably not going to happen, or is actually going to be cancelled. It kind of depends. They haven't really said one way or the other, but if they've gone so far as to remove his CDs from the shelves, I don't see the world tour going so well for him. Now, there are more allegations arising. The reason I sort of skimmed over some of that is because, well, that's not the focus of this video. The focus of this video is that he may not even be deaf. Now, that's according to the ghostwriter Takahashi Nagiki, who said that basically he might not actually be deaf, and he held a press conference in Japan to tell his side of the story. Now, according to a Gadget Sushin and translated by Kotaku, a interesting discussion took place between him and the reporters. I'm just going to go through the discussion here and then go through my opinions and try to make sense of this weird situation. So the reporter asked, Samuragochi has said that he cannot hear, but was there ever an incident where you doubted this fact? And Nagaki replied, "From the first time I met him, I never felt that his hearing was impaired." And then the reporter asked, "You said you never felt that his hearing was impaired. Could you elaborate?" And then Nagaki said, "He listened to a tape I recorded and gave me instructions accordingly." And then the reporter asked, "As to Samuragochi's hearing, how did it seem like to you?" And Nagaki replied, "We had normal interactions." And then he asked, why do you think he went with that?" And then Nagaki replied, "At first he indicated that his hearing was deteriorating to me as well, but during our interactions he returned to normal." And then the reporter asked, "Didn't he attempt to hide it at all?" And then he said, this is Nagaki of course, he said that this that he couldn't hear was how he was going to proceed. And he's also claiming that he was paid around 7 million yen, that's about $68,950 for those of you wondering, to create 20 works for Samuragochi over the period of 18 years. Now, I'm not sure why he's decided now to reveal this secret, as it's pretty much days before the Sochi 2014 Winter Olympics, where the Japanese figure skater Daisuke is set to perform Sonatina for Violin, which is one of his works, or one of his not works, depending on how you want to look at it. So this whole situation is very bizarre. Basically, we had a composer who supposedly went deaf and then was able to continue composing music and was rightly called the Japanese Beethoven by the media and all that, and you know, did it for a long time, and then apparently he was actually not writing this work at all. He was getting it ghost written. Was that because he was deaf? Well, these allegations say no. So I'm not really sure what to make of this. It's a really, really odd situation. I didn't exactly expect to be reading this when I fired up my news machine this morning. So, yeah, I don't know why he's chosen now to do this, or why he chose to do it at all, because he knows this is going to be career suicide. He's not going to come back from this, most likely. I mean, even if Capcom decide to keep him on because, you know, he's good or whatever, who would support that, knowing what he's done? What's more likely to happen is that they'll take on the guy who actually did all the work, and then, you know, Samuragochi's gonna find himself a little hard up. So I just wonder what. I mean, I'm not criticizing him for being honest, because you know he's been lying to people for about 10 years plus, from the sounds of it. But it just makes me scratch my head and go, he must have a reason for telling people. You know, he wouldn't do this with no cause. He's literally killing his career by doing this. He's not going to come back from this. I'd be very surprised if he continues to be a popular composer after this. You know, like I said, his CDs have been removed from the shelves. His world tour is up in the air. Most likely going to be cancelled, to be honest. If I had to guess, that's my speculation. So I'm just wondering what was going through his mind. Maybe he just had enough and just wanted to come clean. That's entirely possible. So there you have it, a rather odd situation. I guess the best situation that could come out of this is that the guy who actually wrote all the works finally gets credit for all the stuff that he did, because obviously he was a ghostwriter and his name has not appeared on any of the things he's actually written. So it would be nice to see what he actually took part in, and for him to get proper credit. That would be nice. Anyway, that is me done for this rather strange video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.